Africa.com presents The Thought Leaders in association with the Harvard Business School Africa Business Conference. Doing business in Africa. There has been a notable rise in foreign investment in Africa in recent years. Even as global foreign direct investment fell by 18% in 2012, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's most recent World Investment Report notes that FDI inflows into African countries increased by 5%.
Africa has changed dramatically from what it was, say, before 2000 to now. The environment has changed. You see more countries going through elections, more countries where opposition can even dream of winning election, which was not the case before. And the whole environment has been improving.
African Import-Export Bank President Jean-Louis Ekra adds that despite the increase in foreign investment, the continent's full potential hasn't yet been reached.
Today, Africa is about 1 billion people, growing economies. 7 out of the 10 fastest growing economies are in the continent. So there is an image issue that, in our view, is the greatest challenge.
It's an image issue that seems to be exasperated by the fact that many don't really get Africa.
Let me put it slightly provocatively. It always puzzles me. When Westerners go to the Middle East, when Westerners go to, let's say, India, to Japan, to China, they literally go through a kind of program to familiarize the employees who are going to go and do the work, selling, whatever, with the cultures of where they are going.
Founder and executive chairman of the Mandela Institute for Development Studies, Dr. Nkosana Moyo, adds that there seems to be a refusal from many foreign companies to accept that Africa has a character of its own, one that needs to be understood in order to do business more efficiently on the continent. With China continuing to make large inroads in Africa, does that mean they get it? The Asian superpower is currently Africa's largest trading partner, having surpassed the United States in 2009. Trade volume between the two has grown rapidly in the past decade. It was $10.5 billion in 2000, $40 billion in 2005, and $166 billion in 2011, and reported $190 billion in 2012.
China is good for Africa, without question, in at least a few dimensions. One is that Chinese markets for African produced everything is really important. And we see it in agriculture, we certainly see it in raw materials, and we see it now in beneficiation, we see it in just many different categories of trade going in that direction.
I think China is good for the continent to the extent that we as a continent want it to be. Like everything else, they should not be allowed to run amok, to run loose. We always need to make sure that we keep the tapes.
China's good for Africa. China has brought in enormous amounts of capital for infrastructure. And China is bringing in goods that people can afford. And I think African governments are getting much smarter about negotiating better deals with Chinese companies coming in, whether it's building roads, taking out minerals. I think China has machinery that is much more affordable than some of the Western machinery. So get on a plane and go. Don't believe what you read in the headlines in the New York Times or CNN. Just get on a plane and go and see the vibrancy of the markets and the entrepreneurial spirit in some of the most important countries.
Find partners. Find partners who live, sleep, eat, and breathe the countries you're interested in investing in. When you're first starting, invest in club deals with other people who you like and you trust, and you can get along with in good times and in bad. And I think the other is be patient. I mean, this is, we hope this is the golden age of African private equity, and 20 years from now we'll look back and say, that was fantastic.
Visit our website for a list of the top 10 things to know about doing business in Africa, including tips on understanding African business culture and the importance of using local consultants. sign up for our newsletter, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Africa.com. Carefully selected news, travel, information, and lifestyle.